Cảm ơn quý vị đã tune in trong chương trình Sức khỏe, sắc đẹp và đời sống với Quỳnh Châu. Chương trình ngày hôm nay của SBTN Texas của chúng ta, mình có một cái vinh hạnh rất là tốt đã được mời Celebrity Chef Pete
Nolasco.
Nolasco. How
Hello.
are you?
Great,
We
thank
are
you.
so happy you are here today.
I'm happy to be here. Thank you, SBTN Texas, for having me on.
Yes, awesome. So quý vị biết không, nhiều lúc á, là cái chương trình của Quỳnh Châu lúc nào cũng muốn mời tất cả mọi người rất là hấp dẫn, và không phải là hấp dẫn không mà lại tài năng, có rất là nhiều một cái chương trình đẹp và tuyệt vời với cuộc sống. Và ngày hôm nay Quỳnh Châu mời được Chef Pete đến đây, thì Quỳnh Châu muốn chia sẻ với quý vị một tí xíu về this celebrity chef. Chef, tell us everything about you. I mean, there's so many things I wanted to share with our community, but I'm gonna let you share that.
Okay, well, I grew up in Irving, Texas, which is right outside of Dallas, Texas.
Yes.
Not far from the Texas Stadium, home of the Dallas Cowboys, former home of the Dallas Cowboys. And I was very fortunate to go to graduate from Irving High School, home of the Tigers.
Tiger.
Black
Tiger.
It's the year of the
year of the tiger.
Dragon or tiger?
The year of the dragon, but I'm a tiger. All right, Chef. Sorry about that.
I grew up in a small Hispanic household, and my mother was my first mentor. She was my first chef.
Oh, wow.
Her food was just amazing. I miss it. I miss her dearly. She would cook with her heart, with passion, and you could taste it.
Yes.
And
The smell.
the smells, every day waking up to that. And she would make us breakfast, and I remember it was delicious. One of the things she made for us was taquitos.
Oh, yes. I love taquito.
It's a flour tortilla which she'd roll out by hand.
Yeah.
And she'd mix different ingredients, usually with eggs.
Yeah.
Put them in the tortillas, maybe a little cheese, and we'd eat that for breakfast. She always made extra. So she'd put them in the little baggies, put them in a paper sack. That was my lunch.
Wow. You lucky.
Well, at the time, I didn't think so, really.
Yeah.
Because here I am going to school with leftovers.
Yes.
I get to school, I'm taking out my taquitos. The other kids are looking at me saying, "What's that smell? It smells delicious. What is it?" I say, "You don't want this." And they had money.
Yes.
They had expensive food from the dining area there and the cafeteria. And they said, "That really smells good. Can I have one?"
Yeah.
I said, "I'll share with you, yes, but what am I going to eat?"
Right.
And they said, "I'll trade you."
Oh.
I said, "Trade me what?" He said, "I'll trade you my hamburger for one taquito."
Wow.
Mom put like 4 or 5 in there, so yes, let's do it. That day, I remember going home straight to my mother and saying, "Mom, teach me how to cook."
Wow.
Because I realized the power of food,
Yes.
especially delicious food.
Yes. Yes.
And I just started cooking.
And how old were you then?
Yeah, I was young. I was in second grade, I believe that was.
Yes.
And I realized then I wanted to be a chef. So I continued my venture. I started studying with my mother and cooking with her every day. And on the weekends, I'd have her and my father. They would sleep in on Saturday, and I'd get my sister out of bed. I'd say, "Come on, let's start cooking." So we'd cook breakfast in bed for my parents and just continued to do that. And in school, my teachers supported me.
Wow.
They started asking me questions. Okay, what type of food do you like? This is where you could go to school. And because of them, I went to a local school in Dallas called El Centro College.
Oh, yes. We love El Centro.
I was in a program called the apprenticeship program.
Yeah.
It was where you worked for almost nothing.
Yeah.
You studied and you learned in every aspect of the kitchen. I started working in a hotel,
Yeah.
the Hyatt in DFW Airport, and I worked my way up through the different kitchens,
Yeah.
including one of my favorite, pastry shop.
Oh, wow.
I love pastries.
Really?
As an apprentice, I also would do things extra credit,
Yes.
and that was to go to the State Fair of Texas and to see my first ice sculpture being cut.
Oh, I love that. I love the ice sculpture.
Each block of ice weighs 300 pounds, 40 inches high, 20 inches wide, and about 10 inches thick. It's a big block, 300 pounds.
Yes. You want me to share with you about this block of ice? In our Asian culture, we do not have refrigeration or anything like that. We just have like a little small, tiny pantry. There's no leftover or anything like that for us. So for all of us in the community that's experiencing this hot, humid weather in our country, we would then go buy ice. And that's how I know about block of ice. I used to be a little orphan that would carry ice to people that wanted ice, and in return I would have their leftover on their plate, their bone that they already gnawed and chew and so on. That's why I don't know how to eat meat too much, because I eat bone until I have zero enamel left in my teeth. But that's what that block of ice remind me back of my childhood so much. But let's talk about that sculpture.
Sure. Well, two things that have been around since almost the beginning of time, food and ice,
Yes.
they go together. In most buffets, hotels, some restaurants, an ice sculpture is there for the shrimp, for the seafood, for the sushi.
Yes.
So I started studying how to carve ice. I studied under a wonderful chef, Chef Robert Bafulco, and he taught me his style, which he studied under a Japanese master, and he showed me. And when I first started cutting, I didn't cut. For the first 6 months or so, he said I must first respect the ice.
Yes.
So I moved the ice around, I delivered the ice, I made boxes, and I got a call from my teacher. He said, Chef Pete, we want you to do the ice sculpture for the annual apprenticeship dinner. Will you be ready? And I said, Chef, I would love to, but I got a problem. I haven't cut ice yet. I'm just making boxes, delivering. I'm respecting the ice.
Yeah.
He says, don't worry. You have a good teacher. Oh, by the way, we're going to send a news crew out. You're going to be in the local paper. You're going to be in the Times. And we're going to film as well.
Oh, wow.
Talk about pressure.
Yes.
I
You
was
better carve some good ice here, Chef.
I was very young. I had a lot of hair, very thin. I looked like Prince.
Yeah.
So my first cut in that block of ice was actually in the Dallas newspaper.
Okay.
And I continued cutting and continued learning. And it's been a blessing to me, because ice is one of those things that it's a great metaphor for life. Sometimes we approach life in the same manner. Like, for instance, sometimes it's good to step back
Yeah.
and look at our lives and reevaluate what we're doing. It's the same with ice.
That's true.
You get too close to the ice sculpture and you don't see what other people are seeing.
Yes.
So you have to step back. There's a lot of knowledge and phrases that go along with food and with ice.
Yeah.
I enjoy that immensely.
That is amazing. And so I am looking forward to talking to you deeply of where you are today, as of all of this have been instilled in you from your mother kitchen to, all of that. So how long have you been a chef?
Well,
We're going to give away some things here.
a chef is actually a manager of a kitchen.
Right.
So I started cooking early on.
Yes.
In high school, I started cooking, and I didn't become a chef until after that. And I didn't want to be a chef, an executive chef. I wanted to be a sous chef so I could continue learning.
Yes.
A chef told me once, the moment you think you know everything, that's when you know nothing.
That's true.
So I tried to continue that apprenticeship attitude. And as an apprentice, you're always looking out to change and to evolve and to adapt
Yes.
and to see the paradigm and to shift so that you can overcome whatever challenges you may face.
Right.
So as an apprentice, I vowed to learn as much as I can about every aspect of the kitchen. Not only the hot food, the saucier, the vegetables, the soups, but also the desserts and also the ice carving. So I enjoy a lot of different styles. And
You're an artist. You have creative mind and creative soul. So therefore, you're able to spit out with so many aspects, and they all go hand in hand together.
I agree. I've always been able to draw, and it's helped me because as that little boy in my mother's kitchen, while she was making the tortillas,
Yeah.
she would have leftover dough,
Oh.
and she'd give it
right.
to me. I'd put it in my pocket, and later my little sister would say, "You have 1 minute, make a monkey." So I'd pull that dough out of my pocket, and I'd try to make a monkey out of that
You
dough.
become a sculptor.
Little did I know that tortilla dough would help me to not think in a one-dimensional like a drawing, but to think in a three-dimensional
That's
so that it
right.
can help me with ice.
That is so wonderful. That is something that many people do not have a trait in the skill set. And what would you say to folks who do not enjoy cooking and who say, ew, I don't want to clean the kitchen. My grandmother, since being an orphan, she was a French chef, in Vietnam during the French wars and everything, during the French colonial. And all of everything, she always taught me, if the kitchen is not messy, you're not a good chef. So I have always make a mess, chef. I don't know about my food good or not, but I know that my kitchen always a mess, and my kid always like, Mom, when will we teach you to clean up as you cooking? So share about what would it take for someone that do not like the mess, do not like the smell, do not like the cooking.
Hire a chef like me.
That's right. That's right.
I think, for my secret ingredient is your attitude.
Yeah.
If your heart's not in it, it's going to show in your food.
That's right.
If you make something and you're upset, your food will not be as delicious as if you made the same dish and you're happy.
Yeah.
If you're full of joy, your food will show it and will taste delicious. So for those people who hate cooking, that don't want to cook, maybe there's other options for you to make it quick and easy. Like, instead of making those tortillas from scratch, go ahead and buy a pre-made tortilla and just finish it off.
Yeah.
If you can scramble an egg, you can still make those taquitos. Maybe they're not as delicious as my mother's because they're from scratch, but you can still save a lot of time by doing it that way.
And everything is so conveniency now, technology and all of that we in. But for me, cooking is about relaxing. What do you think?
Absolutely. There's a lot to be said about putting on some music and, depending on your favorite music, of course, maybe classical or rock or whatever you like, but something to inspire you, like your grandmother, the French studied chef, maybe some nice classical music and while
I
she's
love
cooking.
French music, and I think that's a reason why now I listen to French music almost every day, because that's, remind me of, she's saying, she made butter out of an egg yolk by hand beating. There's no machine, no nothing, with a fork and a chopstick, and we're just beating the egg, and things like that. And so it's so interesting too. Another thing about being a chef is very artistic and artist. So sometimes my grandmother always said, people might not want to eat your food, but if look presentations beautiful and art, they eat it. What's your thought on that?
I agree. You eat with your eyes. In 2016, I had the honor of going to Erfurt, Germany, and competing for Team Texas in the Culinary Olympics.
Yes.
And there, you think you're good, and you show up, and the best chefs in the world are there, including those French chefs, and with their arms crossed, looking down at you, and the other chefs that are there, very good, very good. The best in the world is there.
Yeah.
And that's where you can really see some wonderful presentations, things that would blow your mind. You had no idea that food could look that pretty.
Yes.
But there, they don't actually taste the food. It's all about presentation.
Presentation and art.
Unless the food doesn't look cooked properly.
Yeah.
Then they'll actually take it and take a bite out of it.
Yes.
And if it's raw in the middle, or if it's not actually something that you're portraying it to be, they'll disqualify you.
Oh, okay.
Very strict.
Yeah. That's amazing. So if someone that interested in to become a chef or become a cook, become a soul chef, what would you recommend for them to do?
Well, one of the best things you can do, best pieces of advice I can give you, is try to work in the industry. Look around your house and around the area where you live, someplace close hopefully, and go stage, maybe work for free or complimentary, or go watch. I had to do that.
Yeah.
While I was working in the Four Seasons, I saw all the action was in the pastry shop.
Yeah.
So I worked for free when I got off of work just to get the experience.
Yes.
When the owner or the other chefs will see you working hard to try to learn, and it's not about the money, it's about the experience and the knowledge. They'll usually take you under their wing and say, come on, let me teach you.
Exactly.
And you will know right away whether it's right for you, because you'll either be extremely hot and you can't stand the heat, or maybe you cut your finger and you say, that's it, I'm not going to do this anymore.
Yes.
Because in the kitchen, you will be hot.
Yeah.
You will cut your hands, unfortunately.
Yeah.
You'll burn yourself.
Yeah, many times.
Oh my goodness. There's a lot of negativity that does happen in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Other chefs, maybe they don't want to be there, so they're very very rough.
Yes.
So if you work in a kitchen, even just for a few hours, you'll realize this is where I want to be, or this is not for me.
Right. And a lot of time too, I always believe, being in holistic health and wellness, I believe your food is your medicine. And so when cooking, I always love to incorporate many different aspects of it to balance and to have that deliciousness, but yet nutritious and fulfilled too as well. Wouldn't you agree with that?
Absolutely. We're just now really finding out, holistic food has been around for a long time.
Long time.
But we're finding out now that some of the food that is out now is even more damaging to you
Yes,
than
poisonous.
thought before.
Yeah.
GMO, when you see no GMO, you think, oh, well, that one costs more, I'm not going to get that one.
Yeah.
But there's been studies, and you're right, the food that you put into your body can affect you mentally, physically,
yeah,
and spiritually.
Yes, and emotionally too as well. Yes, that's right. for example, you can go get a family pack of chicken leg, that is discounted price because it's a family pack. Or you can get an organic package of chicken leg and it will cost double the price. However, because of the hormone that in the chicken that you get for family pack, when you rotisserie it, when you fry it and so on, you need more than just one chicken leg because you ate one, it tastes so good, they have that hormone in your body, it makes you want to have another one. Versus the organic one that you eat one and certainly you feel full and sustains. Therefore, you don't eat as much. So to balance it out, sometimes eating organic and natural food is a lot cheaper than our processed, discounted price.
If you can grow your own,
Yes,
you're better off.
right.
Studies have showed that even vegetables that you grow your own in your house, in your yard,
Yeah.
and you actually can eat them raw,
That's right.
then you will, some people say that's the fountain of youth.
Right. That's found in youth. And we are involved in over 80,000 chemicals a day. And so it's very, very important that we think about what is it that we put in our mouth before we put in our mouth. What a pleasure to have you here today. I could
you.
just talk to you all day long, Chef.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. And I cannot wait for you to come back so that you can share a surprise with us about the State Fair of Texas. So you guys all stay tuned. Cảm ơn quý vị rất là nhiều đã tune in trong chương trình ngày hôm nay với Quỳnh Châu. Là Quỳnh Châu rất là wish you enjoy the segment today as much as I do. I'm going to invite Chef coming back because I want him to share about the legacy that he is putting together for our Texas. So if you are watching this in Australia, Canada, or over the U.S., we love for you to come to the State Fair of Texas, and that segment is coming up, so I cannot wait to share that with you. Chef, thank you so much for coming.
Thank
Do
you,
you have
QC.
anything else you wanted to share with SBT in Texas?
Well, love what you do,
Yes,
and your food will show.
that's right.
I love delicious food. I love food. And hopefully you'll take some of this advice and cook some delicious food as soon as possible.
Yes. Thank you again everyone for joining the QC show today. Cảm ơn quý vị rất là nhiều đã tune in trong chương trình Sức khỏe, sắc đẹp và đời sống với Quỳnh Châu. Ngày hôm nay Quỳnh Châu xin tạm dừng và hẹn gặp lại quý vị trong chương trình kỳ tới của SBTN Texas. You want to say goodbye to our audience?
SBTN Texas and everyone out there, thank you for having me and keep on cooking.
That's right.